All right, got all the Dynamat inside the car now. It was missing, some spots where I had to cut it all out, so I had to redo those. And then also there were spots that had never had it, like on the wheel tubs right there. So I did all those, added all that in there where the spare tire was. On the inside, it wasn't done underneath the seat, so now the rest of it, it's all done all around the wheel wells where it wasn't done. So yeah, tranny tonal. Yeah, so it's all good. Try to keep some of the sound down in there. This old rod cruising down the road. All right, not bad, not bad. All right, maybe by the end of the day I'll have the air compressors and the air tank all figured out to go in the back now. That's the next thing to do. Fill in the hole above the notch. And then it's on to the rest of it. So come on and check on back here later on. And we'll see if I can get all that wrapped up. So if you guys are needing any merchandise, I've got shirts, hoodies, stickers, keychains, women's shirts, men's shirts, big guy shirts, XLTs. We have pretty much a whole bunch of stuff on there. We got some cool metal signs. You can see the metal sign up there. We got some different size ones like that, aluminum signs, just some cool stuff, fun stuff. So yeah, hop on there if you guys want anything and check it out. Appreciate it. All right, thank you. So we are out here getting ready to start putting the air tank together with the compressors and all the AccuAir stuff that we got from Switch Suspension. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not a big fan of this stuff. I mean, it's okay. I like how it works. When it works good, it's great. It's awesome. But I've done lots of these over the years, and I try to shy away from them just because I've had lots of issues with certain aspects of them not working correctly with the valve setups and stuff. And I can't tell you how many countless hours I've had troubleshooting and finding issues that ended up being problems with that. And while you're doing that, you're not, you're losing money. And then, the customer is like, looking at you like, hey, what's going on? And it's, it's an issue with a product sometimes. AccuAir has amazing products, and a little backstory is that Reno and his brother and them came down to visit me at my shop down in Temecula back in, I don't know, maybe 2005 or something, 4 somewhere around there. I don't remember. Anyway, they had came down and they were in school and they were developing all this stuff. Nobody had ever seen it. They had like a 72 Suburban. They all drove down, brought me it to show it to me, to try to get me to use it on my builds. And nobody had ever seen it before. And they actually I got the very first prototype that they ever made. And we put it on a old hot rod and stuff and put it on this car. And that was kind of what they were looking to go towards, is hot rods. And so basically we put it on it, and it sort of worked. I mean, it was the right idea. It was super cool. I liked it. I like the idea of it, and I've used hundreds of them over the years, but out of the hundreds, I've had some issues with some of the mechanical parts of them failing and not working, or just tons of troubleshooting. So all that electronic stuff, I just, I don't want to say I'm old school in that way, but I like the simplicity of things that work. I want to be able to get in, turn the key, and go. That's all. I've always been that way. So I know that my customers want that too. So I've kind of used a lot of basic manual air valve setups and stuff. I mean, if you have the right air pressure and lines and everything on there, they air up so fast anyway. I mean, it's not like you're sitting there waiting. I mean, what's, 2 seconds or 3 seconds compared, or 4 seconds compared to 1 second. It's just not that big a deal to me to have the reliability. So I've done a lot of those. And they're still on the road today, 20 years later, with no issues. But I will say that the technology has gotten better and better, and Airlift makes an amazing product. I like their stuff. I've used it. I've had some good, I really haven't had the issues with their things with the valves. And then Acura has a great product too. They've developed and redone, and I mean, just there's so much development going into these that they've just gotten better and better. So basically, I'm just telling you all this because I don't use it as much anymore. So as they change, I'm not as familiar with it all. So I got to kind of go through all this, make sure, I hook it up right and it all works right. So I do love the way all their stuff, looks, the airlift stuff and the Acura stuff. I love the way, all the parts are bitching, it's all machined. It's super high end. I do love the way it is. I want the stuff to work. You know what I mean? I want to hop in, turn the key, freaking hit the button and go. I don't want to have to sit there and go, woo, my car's moving all around. It's trying to recalculate and recalibrate and all this crap. And I don't want to deal with that. So I want to make sure it works correctly. So I'm hoping that this one goes that way. Okay. So that's kind of the plan. I do love this. I love that they send you a template. This is awesome. Like, it is so cheap to send a template, and it makes life so much easier for the installer. So I love this stuff. So that kind of is cool. I love the tank with it all intricate. Everything is, it's hard to see right there, but all the stuff is in, it's all one unit there. I know it takes up some of the airspace in there, but I do love how all that is. I just, hopefully it all works good and I don't have any issues, but I do love that. All the mounts are all pre-done on the tanks for the compressor brackets. So everything mounts to it's clean. And that's what's so nice about this. You can just have such a nice clean setup with this stuff. So, I'm excited to put it all in and check it out, make sure it works good and it's enjoyable. This is kind of what I was talking about. I did this last night. I'll show this down here real quick. So this is the ABS that I use. You can see the thickness. It's 1/2 inch thick. It's not the cheapest, but like for a 2 foot by 4 foot piece of this right here, it was about $100 shipped to me. But I think it's worth it for the amount of time that it takes to cut it and to build one out of metal and make it fit. I think that this is actually a good alternative. If you cut wood to do it, you just got to know that you need to coat it with like fiberglass or some sort of coating good, just because the water and the weather is going to get there and it's going to eventually mess that up. And you're mounting to wood when you want to mount all this stuff. Wood's soft. It can, use MDF or whatever. I guess it'll work okay. But at the end of the day, a piece of MDF is not cheap either. So, I've used this a couple times. And it kind of came about by accident, and I kind of like it. So it's strong, it's weatherproof. I cut it on my table saw, and I'll show you what I cut it on. And it cut perfect, which I was excited because that's not the way I cut it before, because I wasn't actually in my shop when I installed it. So I just cut on my table saw, and then when I cut the length, I just cut it on my radial arm saw there. So, oops. I'm banging into crap. So anyway, it cut perfect like butter. It's perfect. So I was super happy. So that's easy to cut if you have those items. If not, you can cut it with a jigsaw. That's what I cut it with before when I wasn't here and I had to improvise where we were at. It comes with this, plastic coating, so you can leave the coating on so it don't get all scratched up. And like I said, you can do whatever with it. You can cover it, wrap it, whatever. And it's strong, and you can mount the tank and stuff right to it. And it's not going to get weathered. So anyway, that's what I'm going to try and use on here. You can do whatever you want to do. It's all good. So I've kind of measured this out. Got my center. And I'm going to go ahead and figure all this stuff out here. And now before I just start going and just centering this and throwing it on there and just saying, okay, I'm going to drill the holes and mount it. Now I'm going to actually come over and mock up the actual compressors with the tank and just kind of set it up, set it in where I want to, just make sure, measure inside the car where I'm going to have it at, so that way I know that I don't have any issues running into stuff. I'm really big on mocking things up first, so that way you don't have issues later, because once you drill into this or mount it, that's it. There's really no, you don't want a whole bunch of holes removing everything, so just spend a little time. I'm going to go ahead and set this on there where I want it. Make a few measurements, stick one of the compressor things up there, see how far it sticks off of it, all that kind of good stuff. and make a phone call to the customer just to kind of see how he wants it set up, just to make sure we're on the same page, and go from there. So kind of excited to get this all done and moving forward. But anyways, if you guys got any questions about this stuff, you guys can also click questions on my videos on YouTube. I will answer all the questions or any response that I get on there. I'll make sure that I do that. I'm really big on that. I used to, when I did tech articles for Mini Trucking and Trucking magazines for all those years, people would, call my shop phone was my house phone. So, I'd get phone to be ringing at 2 o'clock in the morning, people calling, and it was crazy. And my wife would be like, what the hell? Why are the people calling? I'd answer the phone, and somebody would have a question, I'd answer it, because I figured if I already did all the work and figured it out, like, why not pass that along to somebody else so they don't have to? That's kind of the way I look at it. Some people aren't that way, and I don't really like those people. So I don't think that's, I really don't like that. I think that if you figure something out, you should help somebody else along the way so they don't have to figure it out. And that way, if you have a question, you can ask them, and vice versa. Everybody helps each other out. It makes things go a little bit easier. Why have to fight it all if somebody already has the answer? I've had to figure all this stuff out on my own, and a few things I've been lucky enough to call and people help me out with. It's been great. But anyway, so don't hesitate to ask questions if you have questions, and I'll do my best to answer them correctly for you. So, all right. But other than that, let's get started on this thing. Okay, I'm going to kind of show you guys a little bit of the mock-up that I'm doing here real quick. I didn't want to bore you guys all with screwing every screw in and stuff, but I'm going to show you how this stuff goes together because it's kind of cool. So these little brackets right here, they're looks like they're 3D printed. They just screw into the pre-made holes that are in the tank. You run these are the air compressor mounts. You could flip them over and have them up high too, but in this application, I like how they made them, and you can actually put the compressor down low like this, and it still fits around. I mean, it's actually made for it to go around the brackets the way they did it. Super cool. I don't have the compressor screwed on there, just sitting there right now. And I just screwed the fitting in just rough. Everything is just mocked up. So that way you can kind of get an eye for where everything is going to go and how much room you're going to have, because that's most important, that you want to make sure everything's going to fit. And so I'm just kind of showing you that. Same with the ECU. It's got the same bracketry here, and it mounts there and looks super clean, super cool. Kind of get back there so you can see it all. All the connectors will go to the back of the ECU, and then I'll run them all underneath there. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. Over here on this side, I just stuck the pressure switch on it just to make sure that it's, I have everything. There's a couple extra holes here. So you can use a tank drain, or, you can put water separator on here also if you want. So it's got a few extra spots for that, and then you plug up whatever you don't want. That's pretty much it with all that. It's kind of cool how everything goes. I really like it. Everything fits perfect. So yeah, definitely want to do a mock-up like this just so you can kind of see where everything goes, because you don't want to get it all in and then nothing fits. So just a quick like this. Now what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and throw it up inside the car just to kind of get a quick peek at everything, just make sure it's all good. And if it is, then I'll bring it back out, and I will mount everything up out here, and get it all mounted up out here for 100% onto the tank, so it's all ready to go. And what I do like, and I haven't mounted it yet, but once you mount the air tank, these lower mounts, it's hard to see them down there, you can kind of see them. They actually are quick disconnects, so once you mount them, you can actually just pop the tank. It rotates back, and then it pops up and out, and you can take it all out. You don't have to undo all the screws every time. So that's super, super cool. I love that. That's a great idea. Super neat there. So I think that they could have put these holes up a little bit higher. It might have been easier, and you have to run an extra fittings for everything all over the place or whatever, but it's all good. If you hardlined it, you could run them down there pretty easily. Hardlining is another option, another way to go with all this. It's very, very time consuming, and the parts and pieces and everything get very expensive. But you can definitely do that also. So that's an option. So anyway, that's kind of how it is. I'll go back and show you once I get it all kind of set up inside the car, just so you can kind of get a quick peek of what it looks like. Make sure it's gonna fly. So check it out in a minute. All right, so I'll kind of show you how this looks inside. I think it's gonna look really good. Just kind of threw it up in there real quick so you can kind of get an idea. So I got plenty of room with everything. Plenty of clearance if I need to take anything apart, do it. And yeah, I like that. I think that's gonna look good right there. Yep, that'll do it. Pretty clean. So now I'll just pop all this stuff out of there real quick and go ahead and mount it for good. And get the notch cover mounted. And I will actually be putting a piece of weather strip down around the bottom of the notch cover. Once I take it out, I'll put it around the bottom of it, so when it goes down in there, it seals. You don't get any exhaust fumes or anything up inside of there. So I'll be doing that also, so that way I make it nice tight seal. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's gonna look super cool like that. Nice setup, I like it. Looks good. All right, sweet. All right, well, I'll pull it all out and we'll check it out and make sure this stuff fits. Salvation in that sitting down inside, and one of those late nights when the stars come and the stars come out. Oh, the stars. Everybody got a part to play. Everybody's trying to find a way. Say what me, say what. Okay, once everything's drilled and the holes fit, it's time to test fit it. On the other side, bolt it all up, see what happens. All right, so what I'm doing now is just taking the quick release. You can see these things have slots. They just slide off once you take out it's like a set screw. Once you take the set screw out, pop it loose, and they just pop right off. And just bolt them on here. And once you're done bolting them on this, slide your tank back on, click it back into place. And once I know all that works, then you just pop the tank back off, go ahead and mount this in the car, and then you can finish everything up from there. Cool little trick item right there, super bitchin'.